The reigning Olympic champion, Hansel Parchment of Jamaica, goes in lane 3. Commonwealth bronze medalist back in 2014, Shane Brathwaite of Barbados, goes in 2. Andy Pozzi, former world indoor champion, goes in 6 for England. It's a high caliber first round heat this, goodness me. Jamaica took 1-2 back in 2018. Sean Brathwaite, well, personal best of 13.21. That was back in 2015. He's 32 years old now. There is Parchment, Tokyo Olympic champion from last year. The world number 5 this year. Strained a hamstring warming up in Eugene. Couldn't take part in the World Championship final, I'm afraid. He's in 3. Colone Palpita Alefosio of Samoa. Best of 14.82. Good lane draw, but I'm afraid he will struggle in this sort of company. And then in 5 for Mauritius, Jeremy Lararadus of Mauritius. Went out in his heat to the World Championships, the 21-year-old. Best of 13.70. There is Andy Pozzi, 6th equal in the last Commonwealth Games, but 9 times the UK champion on his day, very much in the top half dozen or so in the world. European indoor champion in 2017, world indoor champion the following year. Orlando Bennett of Jamaica goes in lane 7, 3rd in the Jamaican Championships, a semi-finalist in Eugene at those Worlds just a couple of weeks back. And Nicholas Hoff of Australia, the bronze medalist back in 2018 at the Commonwealth Games, the Australian champion from last April. Indeed, he is 7 times an Australian champion. He's a big fella too, is Nick Hoff in lane 8. 1.91 m, around 6'3", and 86 kilograms. He's a very significant Australian citizen. Well, Sean Brathwaite over on the far side in the blue and yellow of Barbados was disqualified from the World Championship final for stepping on the infield at the 7th hurdle. We are guaranteed a new champion. This is just the first of 2 heats, remember. Roland Levy, the champion back in 2018, is not here. Parchment in 3 for Jamaica, took the silver medal in 2018 and since then has become Olympic champion. So Brathwaite in 2 for Barbados, Parchment of Jamaica in 3, Alefosio of Samoa in 4, Lararadus of Mauritius in 5, Pozzi in 6, Bennett in 7, Hoff in 8. Well, pretty even at the moment over the first couple of flights. Pozzi beginning to move away for England there on the far side. Really good battle between Brathwaite and Parchment. These 3 battling away. The first 3 go through by right, remember. And Pozzi, I think, might have been just run out of it there. Well, Parchment takes it. A nice steady race from him, winning in 13.34. But I think on the run-in, Andy Pozzi might have been caught there by, was it Orlando Bennett? We'll have to wait and see what comes up. Parchment 13.33 his time. He makes the final without any trouble. Orlando Bennett did take 2nd, so 1-2 for Jamaica in that heat, effectively a semi-final. Andy Pozzi gets 3rd place. Well, he battled away for it, kept working, so he makes the final at this point of a season that's been for him a frustrating one. He's had more than his fair share of injury problems. Shane Brathwaite 4th, the Bajan, with 13.42. So he will have to wait and see if he goes through. Brathwaite over on the far right of picture ended up in 4th place. Pozzi here going really well. You didn't think he was going to be caught by Orlando Bennett of Jamaica, but he was.
He was. Hansel Parchment on a mission, as you say, Tim, was devastated to pick up that injury in the warm-up. There's the photo finish that was scrutinised over with that 2/100ths of a second between Bennett and Brathwaite in 4th. Well, he is the world number 5, as you said, and he sits behind 4 US athletes on that world ranking list this year. In his 3rd Commonwealth Games. He's experienced at 32, and he got the job done there for himself and for Jamaica.
It was indeed a 1-2 for Parchment and Bennett in that first of 2 heats in the men's 110-metre hurdles. Pozzi goes through for England with 3rd place. Brathwaite 13.42. We'll have to wait.
10 hurdles. Good work by Hansel Parchment of Jamaica and his compatriot Orlando Bennett in the first. See whether Broadbell can produce similarly high quality running here in this second of the semis. He'll go in lane 2. second in the national championships, the Jamaican, made the semis over in Eugene. 13.20 in those national champs. Now listen to the response for Tade Ojora, NCAA finalist over in the United States this year, the 22-year-old from England, hoping to join Andrew Pozzi in the final. And what form this fella's shown this season. Josh Zeller, brilliant run to make the World Championship final. Jamal Wilson, we've also seen good performances from him on the NCAA circuit over in the States. Fourth in the national championships. Could he get down to that national record of 13.35? Rasheem Brown is a former World Youth finalist and World Junior semi-finalist. Only sixth in his heat in Oregon. We'll hope for better. And then the really experienced Cypriot Milan Trakovic in lane 7, former European indoor champion. He too made the semis in Eugene. The non-automatic spots, by the way, 13.42 and 13.62. So Broadbell, Jamaica in 2. Ojora, England in 3. Zeller, England 4. Wilson, Bahamas 5. Brown, Cayman Islands in 6. And Trakovic, Cyprus in lane 7. Hansel Parchment, the Olympic champion, is already in the final. Andrew Pozzi, former world indoor champion for England, is already in the final. This is a hotly contested semi, and only the top 3 guaranteed to come back for what promises to be a blockbuster final towards the end of the Commonwealth programme here in Birmingham. Broadbell, Ojora, Zeller, Wilson, Brown, Trakovic. Who's coming back for the big final? It's a clean start with a big roar from the crowd. Broadbell going really well on the right-hand side. Zeller now coming into his running. And these two with a little bit of a lead over the rest. Broadbell from Zeller. Trakovic came through for third. Heartache for Ojora, who clattered the final hurdle. It looked like he was coming back into the mix for a top 3 spot there. Well, how about that? The Jamaicans, well, you can't rule out a clean sweep in the final. That was very, very impressive from Rashid Broadbell. Zeller ran very well indeed for England, but heartache for Ojora, who crashed into the last barrier. But what about that? 13.16. I think Broadbell could break his PB in that final.
Well, a good showing, isn't it, from the Jamaicans in the qualifying for this men's high hurdle final. See Trakovic getting the third automatic spot with 13.47 seconds. But that was smooth. Look at the replay here. He was out so well, the Jamaican, in lane number 2. He's en route to a season's best here. Looks like a pretty clean race as well. Josh Zeller, as you mentioned, Rob, having a super season, the English athlete. But watch Ojora. Yeah, his race was over, the English athlete. But Zeller powered through for an automatic qualifying spot. But indeed, Jamaican power in this men's high hurdles. They have a reputation of doing it well. The 10 barriers, 3'6" high. Not even 10 meters between them. And that was very impressive running by the Jamaican. And I'm already looking forward to the final and seeing what Hansel Parchment can do against his teammate.
Yeah, so am I. And you know, from a neutral's point of view, we are a global service here. We're going out to many different countries. It was such a shame that Parchment suffered that bizarre injury just moments before the World Championship final. And he gets an opportunity to make amends in the Commonwealth final. Ojora was really unfortunate there. I mean, unlucky, unfortunate, one of either. He was starting to come back to Zeller, but he clattered that last hurdle, and that's what cost him a place in the final. He won't go through as one of the 2 non-automatic qualifiers.
Yeah, Wilson of the Bahamas as well. Had a nightmare run, and his campaign's over. But good qualifying, that.
Really good stuff by Rashid Broadbell. Perfect time for a season's best. What about a PB in the final? Josh Zeller will be there. And Trakovic, this veteran Cypriot, still delivering top quality, and he'll have a chance to go again in the final. Great high hurdling as we get back to the climax, Tim, of this women's pole vault final.
You can see the flags blowing pretty healthily around the rim of the arena. Here is Nina Kennedy, first attempt at 460. And there's a refusal from Kennedy there, not happy with something. I think actually, even though it's very windy this evening here in Birmingham, the stadium floor seems to be pretty protected from the wind, from the breeze. It is a bowl of an arena. There's one or two small gaps between the stands and the corners mainly, but generally, I don't think there's a great deal of wind down on the arena floor. She's got 2 more attempts as the Australian.
And if you remember, Tim, she was the catalyst for the great Australian